Hi there, new episode, new chronicles. I hope you enjoyed this episode. First, we'll be talking with Rexhina Marku from the Center of Albanian Development, and we'll be talking about environmental projects and youth projects. Then we'll have a good discussion with my friend Henrik Haubro from Copenhagen, and we'll be sharing a lot of experiences on inclusion projects or in projects that also focus on inclusion. And finally, in this episode, we'll be looking at a call from the European Defence Fund, a call for proposals dedicated to SMEs and research organizations. And I would love to hear your opinions about that. Should we really be spending this much money on guns, on weapons, or not? I hope you enjoy. Everyone, welcome back to InnovEU. Today we have Rexhina Marku with us. She's live from Tirana. She represents Albanian NGO, the Center of Albanian Development. And thank you for being here, first of all.
Thank you for having me.
Would you please tell us a little bit about your NGO and yourself? A little presentation.
Hi, my name is Rexhina. I'm very happy to be here with you today. I am a project manager for the NGO named Center of Albanian Development. I have been working in this NGO for, let's say, almost 5 years now. And the history of our NGO dates way back in the days, in the 2000s, when the people that created it were just a group of people undertaking small initiatives in the service of the community. They were constantly engaged in voluntary actions, discussions, seminars, workshops, and other forms of civic organizations. But only in 2004, a group of experts working mainly in the environmental development and climate action decided to create a civil society organization and legally register it under the Albanian law. Center of Albanian Development has been mainly focused on environmental problems, tackling climate action in Albania, engaging youth to participate and to raise awareness regarding the environmental protection, regarding the education related to the topic, but not only. We have also been working with women in order to tackle their rights, and we have been working in the tourism area in order to improve different fields at once. For example, let's say promote sustainable tourism in order to have a development, but also have sustainable development in the environmental area.
So you've been, not you, but the organization has been working for 20 years now. Okay, it's nice to have someone from this area. I think it's the first, if I remember correctly. And tell me, what are your current projects? What are you working on nowadays?
Yes, I mean, during the years, our organization has worked with different donors, mainly national and foreign donors. But at the moment, we are managing a project named Alternative Tourism, founded under the contract of the Ministry of Tourism and Environment. It's a project mainly focused at increase the tourism of thermal baths. I don't know if this is what it's called. In Albania, we have this called thermal resources that it also has curative purposes. Local people use it for curative meanings, but we also wanted to undertake a project that it can be as a form of a sustainable tourism alternative. It's mainly located in the mountains of a county named Tibur in Albania. And there are like these small hot pools where people go for a week or two in order to get a better curative for their body. It's like natural remedy treatments. And we would like to convert this in a way of tourism to attract people, to promote our natural resources, and to, why not, to better develop the tourism. And this is why the project is called Altour, Alternative Tourism.
Alternative tourism. Okay. Tourism is important in most Mediterranean countries nowadays.
Yes,
So I
yes,
guess in Albania, the same thing happens. It's an important part of the economy.
yes,
In
of
my
course.
own country, it's about 20% of the economy. I don't know about Albania.
I think in our country is a little bit more because we are a small country and we have a very big sea line, coastal line. So we have mainly sea tourism. But what people don't know is that we also have very good mountains and very good historical attractions that we are working very hard to promote in order
Mhm.
to uh, divide the tourism, not only in the sea and the hotellerie area, but also like nature tourism.
I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. I don't usually do this, but I can't resist asking. Will finally joining the EU, will that help when Albania finally joins the EU? Will that help the development of those markets?
I think yes, of course. Joining the EU will have a lot of profit, but also it will improve the market because of the EU regulations. We would be doing everything in the way that it should be done, and we would be following even more stricting environmental ways,
Mm.
environmental
Mhm.
protection ways, and we would be like more dedicated to climate action and also development of the tourism alternatives.
Mhm. So, but let me go back to the past a little bit. Not talking about tourism, but about I'm curious about your environmental projects. What will you tell us a little bit about what kind of projects you've done in that area?
Yes, so mainly we have done environmental projects with youth because in order to
Mm.
ensure sustainable development, youth engagement is critical. You cannot develop project without youth engagement so that it can assure the continuing of the project results. We have done various projects in Kukos, is another country in Albania, in Durrës, in Tirana, mainly focusing on educating youth on climate action. We have also done projects that have had some sub-granting or let's say prize giving
Yeah.
to youth clubs in order to motivate them in order to undertake individual initiatives. Our projects are not mainly focused on get a fund, have some activities done, and then finish. What we focus on is that in the framework of our projects, we aim to create a
Okay. Mhm.
local youth clubs, which is like during, for example, let's say if our project in Kulkos was 8 months long, during those 8 months, we would focus on training youth on leadership and youth engagement areas, learning to them or teaching them about project writing, project management, project
Mhm.
initiatives that they can undertake. And then at the end of our project, we have some small prizes where we encourage youth to create their own ideas. And let's say the best 3 to 4 ideas get a prize and gets implemented in their local areas.
That sounds very interesting. Do you have a lot of people joining a lot of young people joining these projects?
Yes, we have. We are focused mainly on working also with schools, institutional, because it's hard to find youth that is not engaged in some sort of activity. And Albania has also this new regulation that you can turn high schools into community centers. And
Oh,
we
okay.
and we collaborate with those youth and we see the possibility. We do some interviews if the youth are interested in joining environmental clubs, and they join environmental clubs. They go on cleaning days, cleaning beaches, cleaning the streets, tree planting. They also up till now we have also created like some exhibitions where we would invite people to see creative ways in order to express climate protection, climate action, and environmental protection.
Mm.
And
So you have, go on, go on, go on.
no, no,
You were saying.
ask me.
You have a clear idea of the impact those projects have because you see how they react.
Yes, yes, because our projects are also focused as, let's say, as a chain of one another. For example, the people that we have engaged in some of our projects beforehand, we
Mhm.
recontact them when we have a new project and re-engage them in order to ensure how can I say it, the sustainability of the previous projects and the upcoming ones.
Mm. Okay. So I have a question for you personally, Regina, not the NGO.
Yes.
What do you prefer? What do you like best? To write projects, to implement projects, or to write the reporting when the project is done?
For me personally, I like better to write projects.
Okay.
I find it very motivating to think of new ideas in order to study a specific project, think of the idea, develop new innovative ways because you don't have to do what you already have done. To think of new ways to engage youth or women, or in order to be like to have an attractive idea. I find it
Hmm.
very
Hmm.
motivating for me
That's your favorite
personally.
phase.
Yes,
Okay.
it's my favorite phase, but I also enjoy managing the project, implementing activities, having to discuss with youth, and being like helping them through the phases that I went through in my beginnings. So both, I can say it's 50-50, but writing a project is a little bit more of my personal.
How did you get involved in this NGO? How did you start working? Did you choose, I want to work in this area and let me find some NGO or
It
tell us a
was,
little bit of story.
it was very, let's say, very non-planned. I had just finished my second year of university, I think, and I wanted to, because I study pharmacy, is med
Pharmacy. Okay.
yes, in the medicine school, and it is a very limited area. You only need to deal with chemistry, physics, medicinal herbs and everything, chemical reactions, and it was like
And people.
yeah, and people, and it was like a world of its own. And I wanted something to engage me in the social way,
Okay.
to be more socially active, to be more engaged in the society. And a friend of mine recommended that I know this NGO that is looking for project assistance or something like that. You can go have a look, see it. And I went, interviewed. I really liked it, and I've been here for 5 years.
So would you recommend that to other young people who are in their second year of university?
I recommend this even for people who are straight away out of high school. It's a very good way in getting to know the market and getting to know the society better. In because you think you know, but unless you go try it for yourself, new barriers to overcome your, for example, let's say social anxiety, or to overcome maybe things that you think you cannot do, this is a very good job because it has a very collaborative environment. You also have,
Hmm.
you always have someone that you can turn to for help, or you also have someone that can guide you through the process.
You are in Albania, which is not yet a member of the European Union, but you have been working on EU projects. So you've worked in partnerships where most partners are from EU countries. Myself, I believe that that's the part I like the most because we meet a lot of very interesting people. What's your experience? What countries have you been working with?
Let's say right now we are in the process of getting a grant agreement in the Erasmus capacity building projects.
Hmm.
We have, our leader is an organization from Norway, and we have like other NGOs from Italy, Greece, Morocco, Egypt, also Egypt. So it's like different countries get together, have capacity building activities, develop youth. One of the partnerships that we are working on right now is this. I also have a project under the United Nations Office of Drugs and Crimes. The main activities in this project were like to train, inform, and increase the capacity of young people to become a factor in the fight against drug abuse. Since here in Albania, during the last years, it has been very difficult to tackle and to educate youth because it has been becoming very easy to get in touch with people that abuse drugs and people that sell drugs, mainly in the age of 13 to 17, because it's the most dangerous age for all of the youth.
Yeah, the teen years. Yeah. Okay, so before we finish, I want to ask you, what are your plans for the future? What would you like to do? What kind of projects would you like to work to write and implement in the future?
In the future, I think I would like to be more focused on training new NGOs in the market that have just been created and giving mentorship to them in order to guide them in the writing process of project proposals and in order to manage the financial sustainability, to guide them through, all the hardships of the beginning that they come, because here in Albania we don't have much mentorships and we don't have much trainers, and even people that want to create an NGO don't know where to start. We don't have many manuals in the field. So I think I have been discussing this with our board of directions also, in order to create a small manual to guide new NGOs in the process, where we can start by just explaining what civil society is, what civil society organizations are, how do they operate in the Albanian market, where can they go to search for funds, providing addresses, links, providing a short way of introduction to project proposal writing, explaining the whole cycle of project proposals, just from the idea, then the writing, then the founding, then the implementation, so that young people that are new in the field can have a better idea. And this way we can ensure sustainability also for youth-led NGOs in Albania.
I like that idea very much, because I believe that clearly we need more actors in this area. We need to improve the involvement of civil society in these areas, and in the use of the instruments that have been built over the years by the EU, including these programs that provide funding, but not just that. And I think that that's the good approach, because people generally think about this as very complicated or very foreign. It's hard to access.
It's a very unknown concept. It's a very unknown concept even for youth. But I think this is a very good way for young people that do not find themselves either like in the business, or they don't find themselves in the politics. I think they would be very comfortable in the civil society section, operating with civil society.
I like your approach that you explained of writing a small manual. I don't know really how to say this in English. In Portuguese, it would be descomplicar. Make it not complicated. Make it simpler.
Make it easier for the young people that have an interest in civil society but find it too hard to get into.
Yeah, I like that idea. So before we close, do you have any final message you want to end with?
Yes, it's never late to start. You can start whenever.
Oh, that's kind of that's interesting, unexpected from someone as young as you, but okay. I like that. It's suitable for me.
No, it's suitable for everyone because young people nowadays are struggling with mental health a lot, and they are struggling with social anxiety, and they think that their time has passed, and they think that they're not good enough to do something. But I think it's never late to start whenever, even if you're
Okay.
17 or if you're 25, just as me, or as if you are 30, 40, 50, it's never late.
Okay, I like that. Thank you very much for this time. It's never
Thank
too
you.
late to start, really, and so let's start staying in touch. Thank you very much. Welcome everyone. Welcome to InnovEU. Today we have Henrik Haubro, live from Copenhagen, talking to us. Thank you, Henrik, for joining and spending some time with us. I love the background you chose. Tell us a little bit about ETCC and about Henrik Haubro.
Yeah, ETC is a filial of a social economic enterprise we made 35 years ago. So,
35. Wow.
European Training Center Copenhagen was made because we wanted to make more trainings and workshops on location in Europe. Also, we can say that we are a training agency and working also with projects, especially EU projects, different kinds from Erasmus, Interreg, and in the early days, we also worked with the accession programs you remember for Eastern Europe. So we have worked
Sure.
in most of the Eastern European countries and in Russia before
Okay.
2007.
Yeah, I imagine. Not today, but that gives you quite an experience in different projects in different countries. I have to ask you, what countries is? What's your favorite? Do you have a favorite project in your memory?
We have just finished a cultural project about getting young people, young people who during the COVID period was excluded, and trying to get them into the cultural and creative sector. And we worked with Romania and Greece, and it was very interesting.
That was what, an Erasmus project?
It was with a university in Timisoara in Romania and university in Bodø in Norway. And then we had a similar institution like ours from Greece and then ETC. And the project was about getting how to make young people interested to join the creative sector and the cultural sector. So it was interesting. But also to show the diversity of what we are doing, we also were involved in a gamification project, which was about how to use a gaming method into training in vet schools and vet education, but also in after education, as we call it, for companies and informal training. And
That's interesting because generally when we talk about gamification, we think about kids and the secondary school, but
we
not necessarily.
developed a platform. The idea is that you use the methodology because also a lot of adults use games and gaming. And here, if you use that method for learning abilities, it works very well. We even now use it to some extent in when we are doing supervision in different institutions and companies.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about the other projects that somehow were important for you, that you remember the most.
Yeah, my favorite, because I'm a psychologist working with inclusion mainly for many years. So I'm very interested when we work with helping inclusion in a broader sense. For instance, let's take an example of young people with no education. How can we get them into work or studying again? We just made one with a group of neurodiverse, as it's called. It's the new terminology for ADHD and autism. So how do you get people with autism into a workplace, especially in the green sector? Because many people believe that it's mainly a question of knowledge, but it's also for small companies very difficult to take the time and find the time. So we have made some small introduction videos for both parts, both the person with autism. How do you act when it's lunchtime? How do you say hello when you go in? It's such small things which make it very difficult, but also for the employer or the supervisor to know what to do and how to be very specific on the tasks. So this is very interesting to develop the methodologies there. And
No,
as you
I'm
know,
hearing about that for the first time, and I find it very, very interesting indeed.
it is. But also, I think I wrote you also, we are together with Ukraine now. We are trying to develop a project on plain language. How do you make plain language method to function for people with intellectual disabilities? And there are not so many studies around, but that would be one of the projects we would like to do. And I've made also with North Macedonia and France. We made about how can you use the e-learning in a form which is acceptable for people with disabilities. So you see, we are in a broad field, and that's why we have made ETC as a network organization. That means when we have to go into a project which we don't know ourselves all about, we get people involved and part of
Sure.
network.
I'm very interested in something you said earlier about your experience with the Eastern country Europes when they were in the accession, when they were joining or preparing to join the EU. Now that we are talking about new countries joining, sorry, like Albania, like Ukraine and others. Would you still be available to work on that, or was it enough for you? You had enough.
No, we are working hard to get funding for projects with Ukraine for the moment, and we are working among others with the National Association for People with Intellectual Disabilities. We have tried together with some journalists to make a program for war veterans and tell their stories. But also with the center, we try to in Ukraine to get funding for solar systems in a day center for people with intellectual disabilities, but having them to work on installing so that it's kind of job training too. And then
But
20 years ago, 30 years ago, we made a psychiatric reform in Albania. So we do know.
Yeah. Because you are talking about this example of the projects you are trying to develop in Ukraine, but that's a different situation. It's a war there's a war going on. There was no war going on luckily, happily, there was no war going on the Eastern European countries before joining the EU. So that was a different experience. What kind of projects did you do then with
At that time,
Romania?
in Romania, that's why our Balkan director, the vice president, Gabi, as you know, he's from that time. We work with children's institutions, psychiatric hospitals, and trying to develop a different kind of new services. So we have worked with Romania for those many years. We have in Bulgaria worked with also youth in prison. So how to get them out of prison, how to deal with them in prison, and so same in Russia.
So you're always working with inclusion. That seems to be your focus.
Yeah.
Whatever the place. Okay.
But
That's quite an
for the
experience.
past years, we have also worked with, as I told you about cybersecurity. We have worked with cultural projects.
Mhm.
We also made. No,
Sure,
come
go on.
No, I just wanted to say that we have worked with the Romanian Board of Science and how to work with the EU and make what we call workshop on location. It means that we did the training, we took them to Scandinavia, for instance, and visited the EU facilities, for instance, in Interreg, in Europe, different program, Horizon, and so, and then trained them on location. So they both made visits and training.
Okay. So with all that experience, I can't resist asking you. You obviously know well the process of applying to projects, writing proposals, and then implementing projects, and then reporting on them. In this whole process, if you could change one thing, what would that be? What would be your choice?
That would be that when they ask, so when you will make the project application, they ask a lot. You have to put in a lot of information and detailed information, but you don't get the space for it, which I can understand. But they should try to make it function, because we have had a lot of troubles where they say it's not detailed enough, but there's no space. If you have 3,000 characters to explain what will be the future of Europe in 2050 and how will you make it sustainable, that's difficult to do.
Yeah. And then obviously you don't have enough details. You only have 3,000 characters.
Yeah.
That's your point, yeah. So
What
would you like to go on, please?
No, but I would also say that the competition has become much harder, for instance, in the Erasmus projects. And sometimes it's not easy to understand the experts' evaluation, because one think that what they miss. For instance, when we make a project application on informal education for people with autism, they say we don't like the project because there should be a vet school involved, but as a partner. But the vet school is not the area we are going for, so sometimes it's difficult.
I see what you mean. We've had evaluators here on the podcast, and I can understand that it's hard for them many times to really have a good understanding of the project, and then. As I told that evaluator, we the guys who write the projects, we are left with a strong will to stone them. But okay, that's not gonna happen. Let me please tell us a little bit about your plans for the future. I'm sure you don't want to retire so soon. So, what would you like to be doing in the future? What kind of projects?
Well, we, especially I would like to make some projects for the young people, I mean, especially the needs, those without education who are excluded. And just in Denmark, we have more than 40,000 of these, and it seems that there are no solution found. And it's the same in Europe. And I think it's especially important because of the aging population. We need also young people to take part. Another aspect we are working with is kind of inclusion, but we have a lot of internationals in Denmark, people from, for instance, EU countries, but also EU countries. And they are kind of isolated. They work here, but they are not part of society. So we would like to make some inclusion activities where they could build this, but also we would like that they, for instance, could have their native language in school as a subject. So it's not just Danish. We like everybody to learn Danish, but it's hard. But the kids should also learn their mother tongue. So we are working a little on making what we call international clubs here.
That sounds quite interesting. And Denmark is not one of the European countries with a larger share of immigrants, but it's still important.
Yeah, but not only immigrants. We also work with immigrants, but the main group has now been from Ukraine. So
refugees from Ukraine.
Yeah, so that's important to work with, but also to prepare for what should happen when hopefully the war is over in Ukraine, because some of the problems we still have from 2007 when Romania and Bulgaria joined. We still have problems in the EU. So if Ukraine or when Ukraine or North Macedonia and these countries are joining, which they should, we will have to have a new form, and we will have to support how it could be integrated.
So there's a lot of work there.
Yeah, and we would like to participate in projects which could bridge this gap for new people coming in.
Yeah, and I believe your previous experience with other Eastern European countries should be very valuable for those situations. Yeah, a lot of work to be done there.
Yeah.
Any final words to close the interview? Any final message?
Yeah, that should be that we should all support that the small and medium-sized enterprises get some possibilities to grow and also to employ more people. It's very expensive for small companies to employ people.
That's a huge part of the economy in Europe.
Yeah.
So I see your point. Yeah. Well, Henrik, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for interrupting your vacations to join the podcast. I hope to see you soon. And thank you. Bye-bye.
And thank you for inviting me.
Welcome to the European Defence Fund's latest initiative aimed at revolutionizing defence technology through innovative research. Are you an SME or a research organization with a groundbreaking idea? The EDF 2024 LS Ray Smero call is designed for you. The primary objective of this call is to drive innovation in defence research. We encourage SMEs and research organizations to bring forward pioneering technologies that could enhance the readiness, deployability, reliability, safety, and sustainability of defense forces. The scope of the call includes a wide range of defense-related areas. Proposals can address innovative technologies and solutions such as measurement and monitoring of physiological and cognitive states, optimization of cognitive performance in human-machine interactions, including human-robot teaming, blockchain applications such as identification of friend or foe, tools and applications for improving cybersecurity, talent screening, artificial intelligence and robotic autonomous systems, system health monitoring and life cycle interoperability, mechanical and green chemical recycling of soldier individual equipment, safe water reuse technologies for deployable camps or combat groups, synthetic fuel production from waste and biomass for military use, high-power microwave electronic waveform technology for countering electronic systems, technologies for advanced printed circuit boards for defense electronics. Eligible participants include SMEs and research organizations from across the EU. Your consortium must include at least 3 independent applicants from different eligible countries, and the coordinator must be an SME. With a total budget of €34 million, the EDF offers grants of up to €4 million per project, covering 100% of eligible costs. This ensures that the best ideas get the support they need to succeed. Mark your calendars. The call opens on June 20th, 2024, and the submission deadline is November 5th, 2024. Evaluation will take place from November 2024 to May 2025, with results announced by May 2025. Successful applicants will finalize grant agreements from May to December 2025. Beyond funding, successful SMEs will receive business coaching to accelerate their growth and guide them through challenges in reaching the defense market. Projects funded under this call are expected to deliver innovative and cost-effective solutions for defense applications. They will drive groundbreaking concepts, enhance the innovation capacity across Europe, and create potential new markets for SMEs, facilitating their access to defense markets and supply chains. For more details and to apply, visit the Funding and Tenders portal. Join us in advancing Europe's defense technology landscape. Together we can create a safer future.
InnovEU, the EU Project Chronicles, is a weekly video podcast. Please subscribe to the Polixdocs newsletter to receive every podcast episode. And if you like receiving it, please press like in whatever platform you are watching or listening. Also, please share InnovEU and Polixdocs with anyone you feel will enjoy it. Credits: author and host Fernando C. Gaspar, music Hugo Gaspar, Lisbon, Portugal, 2024. Reach us by email or DM.